Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In the turbulent years of late Qing China, there was a man who neither came from a prestigious family nor had an influential background. He also lacked significant startup capital, yet he carved out a unique path in the business world. From a penniless scholar, he rose to become a business tycoon who dominated the Shanghai Bund. His entrepreneurial journey spanned multiple industries, earning him the title of a manager of 100 enterprises. He founded China's first domestically funded pharmaceutical company, Longhu Company. Established the country's first comprehensive entertainment venue, Shanghai New World. Created Shanghai Great World, the largest entertainment center in Asia. Launched China's first entertainment newspaper, Great World News. And built the Huang Pharmaceutical Group, which owned 21 pharmaceutical enterprises. His business empire extended across pharmaceuticals, entertainment, finance, real estate, and more, making him virtually unmatched in his breadth of operations. His life was legendary. He borrowed money but never spent it immediately. Instead, he locked it securely in a specially designed box, returning it in full, down to the last cent, on the repayment date. Huang Chujiu, how did this name become a business legend in late Qing Shanghai? A young boy's burden. According to historical records, the death of his father shattered the pillar that supported his family. At just 15 years old, Huang Chujiu was suddenly forced to shoulder the burden of providing for his household. Elders in his family advised him to stay in his hometown, work the land, and live a stable life. But Huang Chujiu scoffed at the idea. He was born unwilling to be ordinary. Having received a traditional private school education, he had visions of a much larger world. The peaceful life of the countryside held no appeal for him. To him, real opportunities did not lie in the narrow confines of his hometown. They were far away, especially in Shanghai, the treaty port. A city where anything was possible. Since the Opium War, Shanghai had gradually opened up, becoming the most prosperous trade center in the Qing Empire and even all of East Asia. Its commercial ecosystem was unique, with foreign firms, concession territories, and traditional Chinese merchant groups interwoven, forming an unprecedented business landscape. Foreign trade, banking institutions, and modern financial organizations were flourishing. Luxury consumption was everywhere, and money flowed ceaselessly. This was entirely different from the traditional trade models Huang Chujiu had grown up seeing. And it filled him with aspiration. Yet upon actually stepping into Shanghai, he quickly realized the complexity and harshness of this metropolis. Prosperity belonged only to a privileged few. Inside the foreign concessions, well-dressed businessmen frequented high-end Western firms. The docks were bustling with imported goods. And the streets were lined with grand European-style buildings. But outside the concessions, the poor struggled daily for survival. Losing a job could mean falling into beggary, and life was fraught with uncertainty. Huang Chujiu, with no background or support, stood alone in this steel jungle. Insignificant and powerless. He lodged in a cramped and shabby inn, racking his brain every day to find a way to make a living. Despite the hardships, he never wavered in his belief. Since he had come to Shanghai, he was determined to make his mark. He firmly believed that opportunities lay hidden within adversity. As long as he could find a breakthrough, the doors of fate would open for him. A bold first step. Upon arriving in Shanghai, Huang Chujiu had no reliable relatives or trustworthy friends. To integrate into a new business network, he had to start as an ordinary stranger. One day, in a casual conversation, he humbly asked a small vendor for a small loan. He spoke with sincerity and assured that he would return the full amount within a few days. Since the sum was not large, the vendor reluctantly agreed to lend it to him. To the borrower's surprise, on the due date, Huang Chujiu did not delay for even a moment. He arrived as promised, repaying the full amount with interest. From then on, he continued borrowing small sums from various acquaintances and neighbors. Though each loan was modest, every single one was repaid in full within the agreed time. At first glance, Huang Chujiu's borrowing strategy seemed no different from that of ordinary people. However, the true ingenuity lay in his approach. He never hastily spent the borrowed money to build a business. Instead, he chose to lock every single coin into a custom-made wooden chest, completely untouched. To him, these chests were not just storage tools. They were also a display window for earning trust. Whenever a lender wished to check on their money, he would open the chest without hesitation, revealing the silver coins inside, completely intact. This level of honesty and reliability quickly won people's trust. As his reputation for borrowing and repaying promptly spread, more and more people became willing to lend him money, including small merchants and even local banks. But Huang Chujiu's brilliance extended beyond merely building trust. He strategically lengthened the repayment periods, allowing him to gradually snowball his available capital. As the loan amounts increased, the funds under his control grew larger. And his reputation itself became a valuable, intangible asset. Throughout this process, he remained steadfast in his commitment to integrity. Even in times of financial strain, he would go to great lengths to ensure repayment. The birth of his business empire. By 1890, after years of effort, Huang Chujiu had finally amassed enough capital. He set his sights on one of Shanghai's busiest commercial streets in the foreign concession. Zhongfa Avenue, now Jinling East Road. Located near the French concession, the area was filled with bustling shops and heavy foot traffic, making it one of Shanghai's prime business hubs. Without hesitation, Huang Chujiu rented 3 storefronts and began preparing for a brand new pharmacy. He named it Zhongfa Pharmacy, reflecting a philosophy of integrating both Chinese and Western medicine, preserving traditional Chinese medicinal practices while embracing modern Western pharmaceutical trends. However, simply opening a pharmacy was not enough to secure a foothold in Shanghai's fiercely competitive pharmaceutical market. He needed a signature product, one that would instantly capture the market's attention. That product would later become Shanghai's most talked about remedy, Ailua Brain Tonic. As Shanghai rapidly transformed into an international metropolis, urban life became more fast-paced. The rising middle class, including office workers, businessmen, students, and intellectuals in the concessions, faced increasing mental and physical stress. Previously, these people relied on traditional Chinese herbal powders for energy and wellness. However, such remedies required long hours of decoction, tasted bitter, and had slow-acting effects. Huang Chujiu decided to develop a tonic that combined traditional Chinese medicinal ingredients with Western syrup processing techniques. This product would retain the medicinal benefits of Chinese medicine while being more convenient to consume. He collaborated with several traditional Chinese medicine pharmacists and, after numerous adjustments, successfully created Ailua Brain Tonic, a formula that was not only sweet in taste but also effective in enhancing mental and physical strength. To better cater to consumer needs, he meticulously designed the product's appearance and packaging, making it more modern, portable, and easier to store. In the very first month after Ailua Brain Tonic was launched, sales at Zhongfa Pharmacy surpassed an astonishing 1,000 taels of silver. At that time, the product's advertising was straightforward and practical, specifically targeting urban office workers and students. The ads emphasized its benefits of refreshing the mind and restoring energy, a marketing approach that perfectly resonated with the target audience. Huang Chujiu reinvested the profits from each bottle sold back into production and business expansion, renting more storefronts and expanding his pharmaceutical workshop. At the same time, he leveraged his established credibility to secure loans from banks and moneylenders, further scaling up his business. The challenges of war. In 1904, a devastating war engulfed East Asia, disrupting industries and supply chains. The outbreak of the Russo-Japanese War led to a dramatic surge in medicinal herb prices, plunging the pharmaceutical market into chaos. The war created a sudden spike in demand for medicinal supplies, severely squeezing the availability of herbs for the civilian market. Many small and medium-sized pharmacies, unable to bear the soaring costs, were forced to shut down. However, long before the war began, Huang Chujiu had anticipated potential market turbulence. On the eve of the conflict, he decisively stockpiled large quantities of essential medicinal herbs, purchasing them at slightly above market prices. He also seized the opportunity to acquire another well-established pharmacy in Shanghai, Zhongxi Pharmacy, to finance this large-scale acquisition and stockpiling effort. He once again employed his signature financial management strategy. He simultaneously secured loans from 13 moneylenders and used his trusted iron chest demonstration technique to reinforce confidence. When the war fully erupted and medicinal herb prices skyrocketed, Huang Chujiu's warehouses were filled with fresh herbs purchased at pre-war prices, far lower than the prevailing market rates. Instead of suffering losses due to the war, his Zhongfa pharmacy saw daily profits soar to unprecedented levels, expanding into the entertainment industry. Following his success in the pharmaceutical industry, Huang Chujiu set his sights on another emerging market, Shanghai's growing demand for entertainment. In 1905, he launched a landmark project on Nanjing Road, Luwelu. At that time, Nanjing Road was already the most bustling commercial district in Shanghai. Rows of Western and Chinese buildings lined the streets, and within the foreign concessions, Western-style restaurants, clubs, and cafes flourished, offering endless new consumer experiences. However, Luwelu was completely different from these conventional venues. Huang Chujiu designed it as an observation restaurant with a rooftop garden, allowing customers to dine while enjoying a panoramic view of Nanjing Road's vibrant cityscape. This innovative concept quickly attracted a large number of young consumers, particularly expatriates living in the concessions and Shanghai's emerging class of trend-conscious youth. To further enhance its appeal, Huang Chujiu installed a rare and highly advanced feature, a modern elevator inside the building. He even introduced a paid elevator ride system, an ingenious move that turned curiosity into yet another source of revenue. At a time when elevators were still considered a luxury, this novel experience sparked immense curiosity, making Luwelu one of the most sought-after social venues in Shanghai. Shortly after its opening, daily visitor numbers exceeded 2,000. However, the success of Luwelu was just the beginning. In 1913, Huang Chujiu conceived an even more ambitious vision, to create a large-scale entertainment complex that integrated dining, leisure, theatrical performances, and traditional craftsmanship displays. To reflect its all-encompassing nature, he named it the Great World, intending to establish a true entertainment paradise. Located in the French concession, the Great World covered 14,000 square meters, making it the largest private entertainment venue in Shanghai at the time. However, constructing such a massive project required an enormous amount of capital. Once again, Huang Chujiu demonstrated his unique financial acumen. He negotiated with 4 international banks, devising a complex chain guarantee loan plan, and successfully secured 1 million taels of silver, a staggering sum for that era. As always, he relied on his rock-solid reputation and meticulous financial management, ensuring every penny was accounted for and pledging full repayment upon maturity. During the construction phase, money chests labeled with names like HSBC and Citibank were regularly delivered to the site, a spectacle rarely seen in all of Shanghai. On July 14, 1917, the Great World officially opened, becoming the center of attention across the city. That day, the Shanghai French concession was bustling with excitement. Crowds flooded in from all directions, with over 100,000 visitors at the site. On its grand opening, all 28 performance halls inside the Great World hosted simultaneous shows. featuring a dazzling variety of entertainment, from theater, acrobatics, and crosstalk to modern dance and kunku opera. The sheer abundance of performances left visitors enthralled. However, wealth and glory did not grant Huang Chujiu a smooth late life. Starting in 1927, he faced increasing pressure from the Green Gang in Shanghai. Crime bosses like Huang Jinrong and Du Yuesheng gradually took control of parts of his business, systematically squeezing him out of his core industry. With the loss of critical commercial assets, Huang Chujiu fell into financial distress, his burdens growing heavier by the day. The immense stress took a severe toll on his health. By 1930, years of overwork and mental strain left him bedridden with a serious illness. On January 19, 1931, at just 59 years old, Huang Chujiu passed away at home. Only a few months later, the great world he had dedicated his life to was seized by Huang Jinrong and fell under the control of the Green Gang, an enduring testament to the brutal realities of business in that era. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.